I haven't ran for a while, so as I say, highly enjoyable. Got to the top, found a little pylon that was perfect for the KO weight upper body workout. Got that done, 4 sets, and on my way back down now. With that one, I didn't really time it. I didn't want to, push too much for the first run. We've got boot camp starting on Sunday, so it was just to ease myself into it. I will do this run again, and I will time it, and I will have something to aim towards, when I do it again and again in the future. But I think sometimes, guys, we can get too consumed with everything being perfect. You got your watch on, and you got to watch your BPM, you're hitting this cadence, all these different things. It's like, just get out and do it. I think sometimes we can't see the woods from the trees. Appropriate where I am now in the middle of a forest, but I think that's the issue with a lot of people, and myself included. We get so consumed with everything aligning and everything being perfect, and we get ourselves down when we don't hit that time that we're looking towards. It's not linear. Progress is never linear. There's going to be times where you're flying. Your diet might just be perfect. You might have had a great sleep. There's all different variables that will lead to that outcome of you having a great run or amazing workout. You've lifted your PB. If it's your KO weight, you've lifted more of your body weight. You've attached more bands. So, as I say, don't be so consumed with things being perfect. I was listening to a podcast with Tim Ferriss, the Tim Ferriss Show. Amazing podcast. Basically breaks down all the top thinkers, the top performers in the world, and has interviews with them for like an hour and a half. And it's amazing some of the things you learn. And the guy I was listening to yesterday was called Josh, probably going to butcher his second name, Watzaiken or something along those lines. Chess prodigy, jiu-jitsu black belt, and just a super high performer that, goes along I think it's the most of the states, maybe the world, and talks to various guys, traders, athletes, and gets them to perform on a high level. And he talks about meditation a lot and being mindful of your approach. And one thing Tim turned around and he said, I think people overestimate what they can do in a week, and they underestimate what they can do in a year. And that really resonated with me, guys. I think it's an amazing way to look at life. Sometimes we're so eager to get things done in that week, or even the hour, the day. We're like, oh, we'll do so much. But if we have a well thought out plan for a year, 6 months, maybe 5 years, and we stick to those, small gains, those marginal gains over the course of 12 months, then you'll be surprised what you can hit. Another book I've just picked up in the airport is it's called Black Box Thinking. An amazing book. Hola.
Here comes the Germans.
The Germans! We like the Germans. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy. Beautiful up there. Some nice little Germans there walking past, having a good time. Completely dismissing the stereotype that Germans aren't happy. So, yeah, this book I picked up in the airport is called Black Box Thinking, and it's an amazing book. And the premise of the story is how we can learn from the aviation industry, and how every flight would have a black box, and if any crash happened or there was any emergency landing, they'd have a black box with a transcript that listed out everything that happened in the run up to it. So from the guys who were checking the fuel, to the co-pilot, to the man in charge. And, they can learn from the mistakes, and they use the flip side to that, which is the medical industry, where they don't learn from the mistakes as much. I think the statistic was something along the lines of human error, with misdiagnosis, operating when they shouldn't, anything to do with human error in the health industry, doctors, nurses, is the third biggest killer in the States. Millions of people are dying per year just because we're not learning from our mistakes in the medical industry. Now, I'm not one to go out there and call doctors. A good friend of mine's coming on the boot camp on Sunday. Anjay, who's a a paediatrician. It'll be his 4th time on the boot camp, and he's an amazing guy and an amazing doctor, and I know they've got so much pressure on them, but what they're talking about is, in that industry, there's not really a massive need for reports. We don't really go back all the time and say, well, not say we, they don't really go back all the time and say, look guys, you know, where did we go wrong here, where can we improve? You know, obviously they don't want a lot of these bad mistakes to get out and made public, because obviously people can lose licenses and stuff like that. So the black box way of thinking is learning from mistakes, and I think we all have to learn from our mistakes, whether that be, you know, in our personal lives, hanging around with the wrong crowd. You know, I seriously believe, as Peter Sage talk about, entrepreneur, he's been on London Real and a few other podcasts, he talks about you're the sum of your 5 closest friends. So if your 5 closest friends are all motivated, ambitious, you know, healthy, they like to go and explore, they like to travel, then you'll be the 6th. You know, it makes a lot of sense. On the flip side, your 5 closest friends are lazy. You know, they're more than happy to stay in all the time. They just like to watch, you know, boring TV. Like to go down the pub all the time, although there's nothing wrong with that now and again. Then you'll be the 6th. You know, it makes sense, guys. We're products of our environment. So going from that, you know, we can learn from our social mistakes. We can learn from our, you know, relationship mistakes. How often do we see guys and girls who have patterned behaviour with the people they choose to be in a relationship with? You know, it's bad times, but they never seem to learn from it. They always seem to go back to what they know. So we need to break those things, and I think routine's a great way to do it. You know, listening to the podcast with Tim Ferriss, they talk about mindfulness and meditation. It's something I've started to do a little more often. And I think it really, really helps. You know, factor that in with the Wim Hof method, which I'll link in the description box below. I'll link these podcasts as well that I'm talking about, which is cold water immersion. You know, a few things have come out recently. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who's been on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I'm harping on about podcasts here, but they're an amazing way to spend, you know, maybe your commute, or if you're driving somewhere, throw a podcast on and you can learn some incredible things. So they talk about cold water immersion and the benefits that cold exposure has on the body. You know, we produce brown fat, which is amazing for your immune system, and you know, so many health benefits. Rhonda Patrick talks about reforming brain synapses and norepinephrine and all these hormones that the body produces and secretes through cold water immersion. And you know, I've been doing that also, and I feel it's just setting me up for the day. It makes me feel so alive and alert. It's an amazing process, guys. So that's things I've been trying to do myself in the morning. You know, talk about 60 days to 70 days, we form new habits. So they're 2 of the habits I'm trying to get into my daily routine now, and it's working. You know, get up in the morning, 10 minutes of meditation, diaphragmatic breathing that I've learned from Storm. It'll be on a few more podcasts, the Born to Move podcast, or vlogs, whatever you want to call what we're doing here. He talks about diaphragmatic breathing a lot and the benefits that I'll have with it. And I've been doing that, guys. So 10 minutes, deep breathing, slow exhalation, and 10-minute cold shower or cold water ice bath or plunge in a plunge pool if you've got access to that, guys. I think cryotherapy also works amazingly well. I know there's a place in Liverpool where I'm from that's doing cryotherapy and having great success. So a lot of the athletes are swearing by it. Again, seeing the benefits. So going back to black box thinking, guys, learning from our mistakes. They talk about key performers. You know, they talk about certain athletes, David Beckham being one of them. Others, and learning from what they do, and repetition, and being, you know, an expert in your field. So take pride in your work, guys. I mean, the reason I picked up the book Black Box in the first place was we've been working with a company called Black Box for a while now. About 12 months, based in Belfast. They're rig manufacturers. They produce fitness equipment. Great guys. I know Greg and Declan well. I haven't met Kieran yet. My namesake, he spells it with a C though. So we've been working with those guys for a year, and we're just about to embark on an amazing project in the Burj Club in the Burj Khalifa. We're opening up a KOA performance centre in the Burj Club, and Black Box are going to help us along with that and produce the rig. So, you know, those guys are a similar age to myself. you know, they're embarking on a similar journey, both in the fitness industry, both getting out there, traveling, putting the hard work in, putting in the miles, and becoming experts in their field. So, hello. Hola, ¿qué tal? Bien? Hola. So, some more happy walkers. So yeah, they're embarking on a similar journey to us, guys, and we've teamed up to work on this, you know, amazing project in the Burj Club in the Burj Khalifa. So what I'm getting at, guys, is that, you know, they're doing what they need to do. There's obviously bigger companies out there who've been going for longer than both of us, than KO8 and Black Box, but we're both trying to do, you know, big things, and we're both eager to learn off other companies, and where maybe they've, you know, made mistakes, we don't have to. You know, trial and error is a great process, but it's extremely time consuming. And, you know, while you're gonna make your own errors, it's better to learn from others. You know, Peter Thiel talks about, you don't know who Peter Thiel is, he was the guy who founded PayPal, one of the initial investors in Facebook, billionaire. I listened to a podcast with him about 6 months ago, and he was talking about every business failing is not a lesson to be learned, it's just a failure. You know, it's a disaster. He calls it, it's a tragedy. And what he's saying is, if it fails, it can fail for one of 5 reasons maybe, but it may be 3 or 5 reasons, it may be 2 or 5 reasons, and you may start the business again in a different field, and the next time it fails for number 1 reason, and the third time it fails for number 5 reason. But again, if we learn from all these other books, all these other people, then we'll be less likely to make our failures, guys. So, you know, battery died there, so we've got the battery pack in, the spare one. So just following on, guys, like, what I'm trying to get at is, there's so many different perspectives, there's so many different people out there who've been there, done it, seen it all, and now is as good a time as any to learn from all this available media. You know, the amount of books you can just read wherever, Kindles. I like a paperback personally, but I like the feel of a book, my preference. You know, books on tape. Sean, our academy director, and Anthony both like books on tape. Anthony's our MD. And, you know, to be a complete contrarian, there's also the amount of quotes, media, you know, celebrities, great thinkers, scientists, whoever you want to talk about, who've got amazing stories as well. You know, Edison apparently had 10,000 patents. I may have got that wrong, it may be 1,000 patents, but, you know, 1,000 patents, 10,000 patents, how many experiments has he gone through before he hit the big one? You know, Anthony was talking about Michael Jordan. He put a quote up yesterday. Obviously Michael Jordan, probably the best basketball player of all time. Talks about how many games he lost, how many, you know, match-winning shots he didn't make, how many times through college basketball and professional basketball for the Bulls, people relied on him as the main man, as the captain, to win the game. And he didn't. But through those failures, he's developed the courage to succeed, move forward, go again, and do it and win, you know. So I think we can learn a lot from that, guys, as well. The Malcolm Gladwell approach, the 10,000 hours, become an expert in your field. Again, there's contrarian ways to apply this, but I don't see it like that. I see it as more of a meshing of 2 different concepts. The concept of learning from others, and the concept of just perseverance and becoming an expert in your own field. You know, like a Lionel Messi. If you read this book by Guillaume Balaguer, Guillaume talks about how Messi would just be obsessed with football. You know, all he would do was play football from the young age. He had older brothers in Rosario in Argentina. He'd play football with them, he'd test himself against the best in the city, constantly striving to perform better. Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, two of the best footballers of all time, not just this era. I think we forget about how blessed we are to live in an era, if football's your thing, it may not be, where we've got 2 of the greatest ever, arguably, who scored more goals, who's performed better. Ronaldo's known for his work ethic, for staying behind after training. You know, you only have to look at his body, put that into perspective. The guy's a complete athlete, he looks like a fitness model, he could compete on stage. That may be vanity. With Ronaldo, you don't know. But it's also a performance thing, you know, we want to be stronger, you want to be faster, you want to be better. So, you know, we can learn from all these people, guys. take what you can from all different types of media. You know, to use that Bruce Lee quote, we absorb everything, we take it all in, we discard what isn't useful, we use what is useful, and we sprinkle on what's uniquely our own. So, you know, going back to the black box point, guys, for me that was like a sign, that was a bit of an omen that we're on the right path here, we're doing things in the right way. So, you know, good luck to everybody out there. If you're starting a business, if you're thinking of starting a business, you know, plan it out, think of the year, don't underestimate what you can do in a year, don't overestimate what you can do with a week, and learn from others, strive to be better, and, you know, get out there and do it, guys. This is the first, well, I say the second. We did one with Mike Hughes, good friend of mine, not too long ago, Born to Move podcast, and this will be the second. We've got some really exciting guests coming up, experts in their field, guys from, you know, all different walks of life, so look forward to those in the future. If you like this one, guys, give me a like. It's the first one, so, you know, critique if you need to as well. If it's a little bit too long, give me some criticism, I don't mind that. You know, if you want to see more, if you want us to talk about certain topics, not just me, the other guys we'll have involved, then, you know, give me a shout, comment below, and we'll get it done. Until next time, guys, this is Kieran, founder of KO8, Born to Move. Take care.